On October the 9th, 2024, a woman sadly jumps to her death under truly strange and tragic circumstances. Everything in this story feels like it shouldn't have been possible, but it still happened. It's the morning of October the 29th, 2004. We're at Wembley Point. It's a 21-storey concrete tower block in northwest London, and it sits right next to the River Brent. It's pretty uninspiring, all glass and grey panels and the kind of place you wouldn't really look at twice. But that morning something happened on the top floor. A woman, quiet, sat in the building's rooftop café flipping through the Guardian newspaper, smoking a cigarette. Everything was pretty ordinary until it wasn't. Without saying a word, this woman stood up, stepped on a table, opened a window and jumped 21 floors down. Witnesses below saw her hit the shallow water beside the river, and by the time the police arrived she was gone. This woman had no ID, no phone, no name, and that's just the start of the mystery. The woman was of Afro-Caribbean descent, somewhere between 20 and 40 years old, and 5'2". She wore a maroon jacket, layered jumpers, black tights, Skechers boots, and she had 2 rings on, one silver and one shaped like a shell. She had £5.20 in her pocket, half a packet of cigarettes left, and that newspaper, The Guardian. Her only other possession was a bus ticket issued 3 days early on Seven Sisters Road, miles away from Wembley. But the strangest part about this is the cafe she'd been sitting in wasn't open to the public. It's a private canteen building for staff. You wouldn't know about it, and you couldn't just walk in off the street, ride the lift to the top, and order a coffee. You need a keycard, a security pass, and she didn't have one. In fact, so the reports go, there's several layers of security, and not necessarily obvious where this cafe is. There's no record of her signing in, and CCTV also shows no trace of her entering the building at all. So how did she get up there in the first place? Maybe a former employee returning to a place that she once knew. Maybe she knew someone that worked there. Maybe she borrowed a security pass. Maybe she found a security pass. Or maybe she slipped through the cracks and tailgated her way all the way up to the cafe. I certainly remember security in 2004 not quite being what it is today. But still, this is strange. She shouldn't have been in the building. She shouldn't have known about the building or the cafeteria. No one inside the cafe recognised her. Some witnesses say she looked anxious in the lift, but others say she looked perfectly composed, just another customer on her morning break. And when the police checked the cafe afterwards, they found a small oil painting left on her table. Nobody knew what it meant. It wasn't signed, and it's never been traced to any artist or any owner. During the investigation, they had fingerprint, but they came up with nothing. They had DNA, that came up with nothing. There was no Interpol, missing persons, hospital records, nothing. So the coroner had to simply list her as an unidentified female, and she was buried in a shared grave in Watford. For nearly 20 years she's remained anonymous. Police have reopened the case several times, in 2015, 2021 and 2023, hoping that modern technology or someone's memory might finally reveal who this woman was. But so far there's been nothing. The Lady of Wembley Point, no legend, no curse, just a woman who somehow got to a place she shouldn't have been and left behind so many questions. See, sometimes the eeriest mysteries aren't about the impossible. They're about the ordinary moments that we never understand. They're human mysteries. What was wrong with this woman? Was she running from something? Or someone? And surely someone deserves to know. We don't do too many of these stories, and they're always hard to cover. The fact is, this woman was helpless, and the clues that were left behind lead to nothing. This has been 5-Minute Mysteries from Mysteries Retold. Stay curious. Good night, folks.